Okay, let's get into the good stuff.
All right.
Enough of the ranting and heavy. I'm heavy breathing right now. I don't know why I'm just heavy breathing. But let's get to the good stuff.
Go ahead.
You guys, if you have not watched The Night Stalker on Netflix, please back out or follow the timestamps that we'll put below. Because we're going to get into that. We're going to go into depth.
Netflix.
Bro, so what... I'm going to ask you.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for sure.
Spoilers.
And we're going to dig deep into The Night Stalker. We're going to dig deep on this whole documentary.
Bam. I'm
going to go with you. Now, I really want to hear your take on it.
What?
Because I don't think I've ever talked to you about serial killers. And... it's one of those things where, like, it's a cultural thing, in my opinion, too. Because I feel, and maybe I'm wrong here, I feel like a lot of white people have turned, like, the serial killer thing into, like, some, I like Richard Ramirez, I love him. Like, did you see the girls
at the
that
end,
were sending him? A lot of them were white women, bro. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to hear your take, because what did you think of the documentary? And what did you think of him as just a serial killer in general?
Okay. One, obviously, the dude was a fan. So that's a little weird. That's a little crazy in itself. It's called scary, whatever. Let's be real. When you got somebody who's looking at it like competition, they're just pushing numbers. You know what I mean? And so the second thing that, because I've heard of Richard Ramirez before. Like, I came across his name, seen a couple of things. I didn't know this dude was just picking any type of victims.
Yeah, he didn't have like an MO really.
Right. The setup was just be a woman. You got a guy, get shot. Her, freaking get raped. It was just like, I couldn't, between, what was it, like 100 and, what did it end on when he got caught? Like 160 some days?
It was about 170, 100.
For that just to be happening in the LA County, bro, I was like, out of everything and how long he did it, I really enjoyed the end, because the beginning I was kind of like, okay, where's it going? But they really built up what the two detectives had to go through. You know what I'm saying?
Liked that it came from their point of view.
That was good.
That was cool.
At first I was just like, oh, why are they talking about this dude? But I'm like, you know what? Get over that hump, judge it later. Because there's only 4 episodes. And getting into it, so after episode 1, you see like the problem, you see who they're after, you kind of see the MO. The second and third episode, I really just felt like, because they kept saying the Night Stalker killer, I didn't know who it was. So I don't even know if they caught this guy, right? So in my mind, I'm like, damn, man, this is like crazy. This dude's on the news, multiple names, people just getting popped in the house, old people, kids. I'm like, it kind of threw me off because, like you said, there was really no motive besides what? Shoes?
Well, I was thrown off because I've heard of him before, Richard Ramirez.
Right.
And when in the documentary, when they start mentioning like him taking kids from their literal bedroom window, molesting them, raping them, I was like, what? He did that?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Like, I mean, I don't look up this type of shit. Like, I know about serial killers, but I'm not like a fanboy.
And even when you Google him, a lot of it is about like the surface level Google. It's just like, say you just go to Wikipedia. It really kind of only tells you like mentality, how long he was doing it. There's not a lot of details on
like his like the I wouldn't say the work behind what he did, because that sounds really bad. But
the mannerisms,
yeah,
how people knew him, like
his method.
But how does everybody know this dude from his odor, his teeth, and his eyes? That's creepy.
One thing that like got me really good was when they interviewed the woman, because she got kidnapped from her bedroom window when she was 6.
Yeah.
He took her to his house.
And he let her go.
This hearing her story gave me chills, bro. I was like, damn, bro. Like,
I didn't. She.
I think episode 2 and 3 of the documentary are very, very like.
Yes.
This killing. It was like super like in your face, brutal, like brutal.
3 really showed how the media back then could really ruin certain stories. Like, I still appreciated them showing like that side of journalism. Like, we figured it out. We're going to tell people.
They were going to expose, and we're going to get to the shoe part. But you're talking about the reporter who's going to
right.
So she could have got more people killed because she wanted a story.
And that's why I'm kind of a hit and miss. Because when you look at it later on, and they put his name in the paper, his face in the paper, really helped. But when you look at where she started it, which was specifically the detective that we saw, I think his name was not Phil.
There's Gil, and I think it's Frank.
Frank.
Yeah.
When she gave information that had Frank's address on it with his family, and this dude, they said they were pulling 16-hour days. Bro, I have never, man, that's enough to make you want to. I lose my job in a heartbeat. Like I'm quitting.
Packs one out, done.
At least, like at very least, now he has to quit. Now you might be next. You know what I'm saying? Because that's you just ruined this dude's whole like family. You know what I'm saying? And then the Gil part where Gil thought somebody might have broke in.
And like, well, yeah, and he had like the gun and everything.
And his wife left. I was like, those two things right there really, yeah, man.
They really showed the dark side of being a cop too. Like you're never with your family.
Yeah.
There's always constant worry of you dying. There's always the thought in the back of your head, like I'm gonna,
And your face is on the screen, so you're looking for a killer. As soon as they name you as the person that's looking for them, now, and that was a big thing they're saying, like, yeah, the killer's watching the news.
Yeah, because he was
changing his methods every time.
What really blew my mind, and I've seen a lot of serial killer documentaries. I've read up on them before. What really blew my mind, bro, was the shoe. Like, bro, Justin, so he was wearing a shoe, I think it was Avia? Or Avia?
Avia.
It was Avia. So he had a shoe, right? And they were able to get a footprint off the shoe, figure out what shoe it is, and they figured out that only one pair of those specific shoes,
size and
everything was shipped to Los Angeles. So at all these different crime scenes, they see the footprint, they know it's him. They know it's him because that was the only shoe from Avia that was shipped to Los Angeles in that time.
Right.
So they would find that shoe print a hell of kidnappings of the little kids, murders.
And you know,
and that's, to me, I've never heard of a fact like that. One shoe.
Just to put me on that, because remember that was their one clue they had for so long, and the next was that car,
the orange car,
right?
Yeah,
that they were waiting on from episode 2, and then in episode 3 you see that they didn't even ship the car or process it like they said they were going to, and by the time they actually got the car, which was like what, a year later.
It was sometime.
I'm sorry, it wasn't a year later because it was only a couple.
I think it was like months.
It was a good couple of months later. I want to say it was like 2, because they really it jumped to the hundreds. That's how I remember. It jumped to the hundreds in like 30, 20 or so. By that time.
Are you talking about when they finally got to examine the car?
Yeah,
that they had his dentistry.
Right.
That is insane too.
But that was 2 times that they couldn't rely on the LAPD, and they admitted it.
Well, didn't he say in the documentary, like, hey, another jurisdiction went out of their way to, like, ruin our work?
Yeah. And
that's insane, too.
The pissing contest.
That exists? People are dying. I didn't know that it happened. I mean, I think that was important to talk about, like that. Did anybody think that happens? Or?
I always wondered why, like, besides, like, the stories you would hear, right? Because you hear word of mouth stories and, like, say you know for a fact they're true, you don't know if they're like true for the whole world, that's your experiences. But then when you see something like this, you know for a fact why TV, music, media, they just make fun of the LAPD department. You guys got a badass history of not taking shit serious.
I think it costs a lot of people their lives, bro.
Like, bro, when I seen, like, when that caused them to have like an extra 50 days looking for this dude.
Yeah,
he was gone for like 2 more months.
They could have prevented so many people from dying if that jurisdiction didn't try to fuck over this jurisdiction.
Man, and
it's like what
they said there were like 3 or 4 of them too. So it just became, like you said, it became a pissing contest. It became the fact
because he wasn't just doing it in one county, right? Remember in the documentary, he was doing it spread across California.
The other one was the arrest warrant. Remember? The dude said it. It was a totally different guy, but he said they asked us to sit on a murder warrant
for 24 hours because they were like, "Hey, you know what the media would say if they found out we were."
Man, get out of here, bro. Yeah, and they waited.
But they didn't know, right? They didn't know he was in Arizona with his brother, right? So,
but the thing is, it's like if you don't go get him now, and he is there, and he kills somebody and leaves, it's on you. It is because you could have acted then.
Well,
just like when we look at
the debate like if you guys wait? No. Wasn't the debate like if you guys go public with his name and picture?
Yeah, That was one of
that
them.
he could run away and then you don't catch him at all. So, but I think both.
But remember, the murder warrant was just for them to go to their house. Like the warrant, it just means I can go pick your ass up
And
regardless.
arrest you.
Right. But they didn't. They wanted to wait. And why?
There was, bro.
When he was doing 2 in one night.
There was some. Yeah, wasn't there some incidences where he was doing 2 in one night?
Like 4 times, man.
There was one kid who ended up escaping, getting kidnapped from his room.
Right.
There was
the girl he let, little girl he let. There
let
was
go.
rare cases where the child was killed too.
Oh, was there? Because I didn't remember. I mean,
it was always rape for the children. Also, it was child rape. It was women rape, and the men. The
when
girl,
he killed the adults, it was very brutal.
Yeah, the men never made it. The set for the family when he got that new gun, and it just
and bro, Justin, dude. So he breaks into this couple's house. He shoots the wife in the head. She survives.
It goes through her nose and comes out the back of her neck, hitting no vital artery.
Then he shoots the husband in the head. He survives. Then the husband chases the Night Stalker out of the house. And they lived, right?
Yeah, they both lived.
Bro, they both got shot in the head. What are the odds?
In the face. Sleep.
Yeah, and then the Frank, the detective, the homicide detective, he goes in the newspaper and calls him a coward for it.
Yeah,
and the Night Stalker saw that.
Yeah, for running. And then that's when, shortly after he had to deal with the reporter giving the information about where he lived. I'm like, bro. And then that's why I was so scared. I know for Frank at the end, because when they actually caught the dude and seen him, never mind his partner, he knew exactly who Frank was.
Yeah, because
hyped to know.
Well, wasn't it kind of Frank was one of those detectives, like just like in a movie?
It was remember the strangle victim or something?
The Hillside Strangler.
Yes, he's the one who helped
broke
capture
that case.
Him. So yeah, that was for me. Never mind the eyes. It was because I feel like he could have been caught a long time ago had we just said it. Just those organizations work better together. I just feel like for Frank, it was probably the worst out of everybody because he was looking at him and he was just looking at numbers. Like that would have been another type of publicity for him to kill Frank. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I killed
insane,
the Hillside. What's his name? The Hillside?
The Hillside Strangler. And then
Hillside Stranglers.
Well, remember at the end, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to be in the same cell as the Hillside Strangler."
Yeah.
He's a student of the. Yeah. I don't want to say student in the game as if it's cool to be a serial killer, but that's kind of what Richard Ramirez was.
That is. He was a student. He said it. He was like, I studied Ted Bundy and all them people.
Yeah, and
shit.
So I was going to ask you your opinion on the fact that you give these serial killers a name, right? So you give them a moniker, you give them a name, you publicize them. Even now, what we're doing right now on this video, right? Me and you are talking about him. We're giving him more publicity. We're giving him more like. What do you feel about that? Like, I feel like it's weird to like, I don't want to be a hypocrite and say, don't talk about serial, because we're doing that. But like when you give them a name, they literally, like he gets to go in the newspaper, I'm the Night Stalker. And then we making a Netflix video out of it. And I just don't know if that's the right way to do it.
Documentary I was trying to tell you to watch about that cat killer guy.
Yeah.
One of the main people that they interviewed about that video, she says that she thinks that that's what happened. Is like they put his name and picture and video up and everything trying to catch him, but all that did was give him the attention that he wanted, and it drove him to up his ante to try to keep getting attention.
Because he was getting attention from the newspaper.
That drove him to do more because he was getting attention.
Yeah, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Attention is a drug.
We're talking about him right now.
It is a drug. I mean, attention is power to people right now.
But they have to like,
but in the purest form. Like imagine back then, right? We grew into the internet, right? Eventually, it started at okay, people can take your pictures with a cell phone or any type of one of these cameras.
Yeah,
it goes a little further. Now your phone got it. You keep progressing. Now we're live and we're streaming, we're recording everything. You know what I'm saying? MySpace, Facebook, Instagram, constantly. I think it's just like for back then, bro. Yeah.
Oh, it was big back then. If you were known like that,
I have to say, like, I'm kind of indifferent for the bringing them out thing. I feel like that's a kind of a case by case thing. But giving them a name is never good, in my opinion.
And I can like instead of Ted Bundy, it's my name's Iron Man or something like.
Right, like you know what I'm saying. Like, nah, you don't need to make it, because giving them a name, it always comes from one thing, catchy. It's not really, unless it's just easy to remember. Like when they give him a name, when they give him like say a name like it's he killed in that area, that's kind of different. I feel like that's an easier way to recognize instead of trying to remember like the specific person's name. But yeah, man, because like Richard and Ramirez are, I'm sure some kid might be named that one day.
There probably is Richard Ramirez's name out there.
Right. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to a certain degree, I don't think they should have these extra, the Hillside Strangler, like the Hillside Killer. Call them all killers.
Well,
like,
they had posted his picture and name on almost every newspaper in California.
Right.
So I thought it was funny that when he got caught by his own community of like Latino people.
Yeah, and they was whooping his
Yeah,
ass.
they were whooping his ass. They're like, El Diablo. And like,
he said I hit him with the pipe. And then he tried to run away. I knocked him. I hit him again.
Yeah, and remember the cop was like, "Oh, they surrounded my car," and like they were talking about killing him. And
they're all looking at him. Oh, that's him. That's him. Oh, let's get him. Yeah. Because to them it's so surreal. It's like, oh, it's meant to be. In my mind, it's like it's meant to be. You came to the wrong place. You got caught. Then whoop your ass.
There were certain killings that he did where I was like, damn, he didn't have to do that old lady like that. I mean, he didn't have to do any of them like that, but it was you know what I mean? Like, imagine, like, that's the last face you see is that guy. I don't know. That would suck, man.
Bro, this is what, man. Nah.
You know, it's just one of those things, bro. I give the documentary, I would say a 9 out of 10.
But, and just to know y'all ain't supporting this is why Jeffrey Dahmer got mashed in prison. Like, the guards gave this dude, you know, hey, gave him a newspaper. You know what that is, right? And he beat this dude to death in his own prison cell. You can't just kill people.
He was too big.
I don't care what you believe. You can't just fuck with people's lives and think they're just going to be like, oh, okay, he got me. No. People going to be like, oh, well, I'm screwed. My life is over.
But think about it. You're the guy who killed Jeffrey Dahmer. That's what you'll always be known for that now.
Right, yeah.
So I'm in prison. I'm going to kill you because I will be known as the guy who killed Jeffrey Dahmer.
And he said it. I was already serving life, so.
One of the facts about his childhood, bro, there was one that kind of fucking bugged me, bro, that his dad used to tie him to a tombstone in the graveyard overnight as a punishment. What do you think happens if you tie me to a tombstone out in the graveyard? What do you think I'm thinking about all night? Don't you think some evil thoughts will start to ferment?
Man, it's like this.
Well, think about it. You're tied to a tombstone and a graveyard. You don't think that kid's out there thinking hella evil things to do when you let him out?
This. All right, I may be hated for this. All right, I'm going to say something. This is why I believe people, and we were talking about something else, you know, behind the cameras. Justin was letting us know some things, you know. But I feel like people should be screened before they could have children. Straight up.
How would you screen them?
The same way we screen if we're even going to let a war vet come back. He killed for us, but he might not be able to turn off that mode.
You mean like, oh, hey, if you're bipolar or you have schizophrenia,
or if it's damaged you, or maybe even not even saying if it was a psychological thing. Maybe you just had a concussion while you were there. We make sure they're fit to be a member of society, but we can't make sure somebody is fit to be a parent until after they fuck up the kid's life. And then we expect the kid to be okay. You feel what I'm saying?
Or we expect them just get up and lick your wounds. Just lick your wounds.
Right. Or go in foster care and come out just fucking all right with a whole bunch of other kids, probably went through some other horrible shit. And it's just like, this is why so much, whatever. Not to rant, but yeah, man, it's like, I couldn't even be surprised at it, bro. Like because we don't talk about these often, but when you do, it's rare that the parents didn't do anything. Like they just didn't know. He was always so clean. They're clean.
Oh, they knew, bro.
It's rare that the parents were just clean and he was just a psychopath and nobody knew.
Once he gets arrested, he's in jail. The media frenzy behind the case, him going hell Satan in court, the pentagrams, all the women writing. That's another thing. This is gonna sound bad, man, but it's like, hey, you murdered people, okay? These women still like you. But you didn't just murder people. You raped and molested little kids, too. And these women are still writing letters and sending you notes.
Yeah.
What? Like, no one checked those women? Why weren't they evaluated or taken in? Like, bro, he molested and raped kids, and you're still sending him nudes. I might not want you to be a part of my organization as an employer. I might not want to, like, people, if you're that ballsy to send someone like Richard Ramirez, like, nudes and letters, they should be publicly aired out, bro. You're honestly one of the people that sent him a letter.
Minimal. I think that's like just not saying that because I really don't know what else we should do, but yeah, at minimal, I like that idea. Air these motherfuckers out because, like I said, I ain't got no problem. Vote for Trump. Vote for Biden. Vote for whoever you want. At the same time, though, if you're using like one of them to, just like we said, if we found out all of them, anybody from that that island you were putting me on a couple episodes back, you know, if we found anybody from that like weird, rich, like rapey, sacrificial, whatever island, fuck them. Like to the maximum degree, because you cannot support that level of things and be like, can I just live? No, because you support things that don't make other people live. So no, you gave that right up a little bit. You know, it's kind of like if I start beating people up and then I get mad, I lose. That doesn't work, bro. It doesn't matter if when you beat him up, it was kind of, you know, you got away with it. It wasn't too bad. It's just, nah. Keep that same energy. I don't know. But
so you like the documentary? I mean, we don't like what he did, but the documentary.
It's hard to like it, but it was good. It was worth a watch.
Very good, worth a watch.
It was worth a watch.